bright suns, and welcome back to an all-new episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars with Maggie Lovett. It has been 2 weeks since I got to talk to all of you about Star Wars, and I missed recording last week so much, but I was super busy covering E23 for Your Money Geek, and I just could not spare the time on Sunday to record. It was a bit of a bummer because we were all hoping that something Star Wars would be announced at the gaming convention, but nothing came out. Hopefully we'll find out some more fun stuff about what's coming for Jedi Fallen Order and for the Lego Star Wars game. And of course, whatever open world concept is, planning to come out for Star Wars gaming. And as always, we don't have a lot of games in comparison for the amount of canon content that is in existence. But I feel really positive that whatever they end up planning on doing with Star Wars gaming, that it's going to tie in all of the current canon and content, and it's going to be just incredible. I know nothing. I'm just very optimistic. But today's episode is going to be a very quick one. First off, I have to talk about how attractive Marchion Ro is. If you've listened to my channel before, you know that I am a fan of Marchion Ro in the High Republic books, and I've been in support of the Nile since Light of the Jedi came out, and I knew based on the descriptions of him in Light of the Jedi, and just from the way that Marchion Ro presents himself, both in the books and in the comics, I just knew that this man was good looking. I mean, yes, he is an alien, but I knew he was good looking. And then his helmet came off in the High Republic Adventures issue that came out last week. And oh my god. I got the issue the Friday before it came out, and so I could not talk to anyone about this because it was under embargo, and I was just dying because I knew so many people were going to be so excited to see Marchion's face. If you haven't read the comic, I'm about to spoil some things. I have loved his interactions with Crix this whole time. I keep jokingly calling him Crix's new dad. Yet to be seen. I don't know if I would call Marchion Ro the best role model, but here we are. And there he is, and he takes his helmet off for the kid, and he gives the kid his own helmet, and I just love it. I have been absolutely enamored with the High Republic Adventures. I love the mainline comics over at Marvel, but what Daniel's been doing with the High Republic Adventures has just been so much fun, and I think it's made me love comics again. I love comics. I have a bunch of DC comics over on my bookshelf over here. I have Marvel stuff over here. I have a lot of comics in my possession, but I really think this new batch of Star Wars comics, particularly the High Republic comics, has reinvigorated my love for that medium. I also love what's going on with Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters. Also, spoilers, Kira. Totally took me by surprise. I had that a full week before the embargo lifted, and I was just freaking out, and I couldn't talk to anyone about it. And I was so nervous that someone was going to spoil it, because let's be real, Star Wars loves spoiling things. I've already had Obi-Wan Kenobi spoiled for me, and the show is barely filming. Spoilers everywhere. And I was just really worried people would spoil Kira. And I will say, morning of, some outlets went straight for the lead and posted articles with her on the cover, which isn't cool, but whatever, get your page clicks. But I felt so excited for everyone who got to see that unspoiled. Even with spoilers, I think that the way that their comic is handled, the big reveal at the end is still fun. But it makes me really excited to see what's going to happen with the War of the Bounty Hunters comics. Is that going to tie in with some of the stuff we're seeing in the Bad Batch right now, with these bounty hunters that are after Omega? Is this going to tie into the Book of Boba Fett in December? Which, fingers crossed. So I'm just really excited. I love the synergy that's going on with all of the mediums, of course, with the High Republic and the comics and the books, and now with potentially the comics and maybe the television. It's exciting, and I love it. But that was not what today's episode is about. Today's episode is about me being obsessed with rekindling my childhood love for the prequels. I mean, I always love the prequels. That's just, it's always going to be part of who I am. But I've gotten into the habit of looking for toy sales online and finding some vintage pieces that I always coveted as a child, but was too deep in my Lord of the Rings action figures phase to ever get when I was a child. So now that I have adult money, I am buying these things for myself. Which brings me to my first big purchase. She's beautiful. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I got this beautiful figure this week. It has been killing me not to open it all of this week because I've just been dying to. But yes, this is new in the box. The box has seen some wear and tear. This was definitely in somebody's collection, most likely kept in box this entire time. And if you are squeamish about toys being taken out of the box, especially toys that are considered vintage, which pains me because I was a child when this came out and now people are calling these vintage toys. I guess I too am vintage. But if you're squeamish about people opening toys, avert your gaze because she's coming out of the box. But it has just been so much fun looking through different like auctions and sales on eBay and looking for some of the toys that I just desperately wanted as a child, and now I have the money to buy it myself. And my toy collection is slowly growing. Oh my gosh, look at her, she's perfect. I will be honest, when I bought this, look, I mean, it still has the applause, oh my god, the complete catalog of what was in this collection. But she has not, almost dropped her, she has not come out of the box. She's still fully taped in, so somebody has cared for her for the last 25 years, I guess. A while. 22 years. But she is going to come out and get the life that she deserves on my bookshelf. I'll keep the box. I try to keep all of my toy boxes that I do take out, unless they have the card backs. But obviously, like, I kept my Mando and its card back because some people complained. I want to take them out, but I didn't. But I try to keep all of the materials that my figures come in, just in case I have to transport them, like in the event that I moved or something, which isn't going to happen, or I decide to sell them or something. I try to keep it. So, I mean, technically it's not new in box, but it's still got all of the packing materials and all of that good stuff, so technically. But yeah, I posted, okay, I'm going to look at this before I talk about her figure. Oh my gosh, there was so much. Wait, there was a plush Jar Jar Binks? Where can I find this? Oh my god, look at this. It is a complete guide of all of the Star Wars toys that came out for episode 1. Go to the official StarWars.com. Oh my god, the Star Wars fan club? Oh my god. This is wild. Okay, so they have these mega collectibles, I guess. Are these the... Which one is she? Okay, so they had vinyl magnets, 3D magnets, treasure keepers. Oh, are those the banks? I guess this is a character collectibles. Is she the mega? No. Yes. So she's the 10-inch. And then there's also like Darth Maul's, Obi-Wan's, Qui-Gon Jinn's. I might have picked up a Qui-Gon Jinn this week. That'll probably be next week or the week after that I unbox him. But there's so much. But apparently there was a Jar Jar Binks plush, which came in medium and small. So if anybody has seen those, I am curious. I mean, my murder of Porgs and my little flock of Yodas wouldn't mind having a new edition that is a plush Jar Jar Binks. That's just so wild. Who knew? I mean, who knew? But here she is. She is obviously not like adjustable. But let me look at her. Look at her. She looks so good. She's in the same costume as my small action figure that I got when the Phantom Menace came out, and she's posed very similarly with her blaster. But this was one of my favorite outfits of hers from the movie. Obviously, I like her queen outfit as well, but this Handmaiden's outfit is just gorgeous. And I'm so excited to have her up on my shelf with everything else. And then it's kind of funny that I got her and Qui-Gon Jinn because they are the only two action figures I have from the prequels. But I am always looking for more to flush out my prequel love collection. But it's been such a blast to look for things because I love toys. And it's still weird to think about like action figures and figures like this as like collectibles because I loved action figures as a child and I bought action figures all the time. I have like all of the Lord of the Rings action figures for all three films and they were heavily played with when I was a child. I was constantly creating like scenarios and like battles and they were going to Helm's Deep and like all these things were happening. And I know my Qui-Gon and my Padmé action figures got a lot of action from me as a child as well. Like I came up with all different scenarios and like played things out. But it's so weird. This week we just had a really cool set of figures come out at Hasbro and they sold in like a minute. And there were retailer exclusives to Walmart. And we all know Walmart sucks with toy exclusives. And it's just weird to me because like as a kid, I would go to like KB Toys or I would go to Toys R Us and it would just be toys for kids. Like there weren't adults fighting each other to get action figures. And now everything's online and it's like very hyper specific. They release on different platforms. They all release at the same time. So then you're like rushing to go to Amazon, to GameStop, to Walmart, to Target, and you're trying to like get all of these orders and they sell out like that. And then people are reselling them for like $200, $300 on eBay before they've even been released. And it's really frustrating because I still view action figures as toys, which is like why I take them out of boxes because they're toys. They deserve to be played with. They deserve to be like, played with. And so it's still weird to me to see how people react to action figures because that's still my mindset. Like I have them like posed and I have fun with them. But I am really excited that she's stayed in the box all of these years so that I could bring her home and give her a new life. But other than that, that was the only figure that I had to unbox today. I did want to share with all of you that my High Republic books showed up this week. This one and this one, of course, come out on the 29th. They're so good. I cannot speak highly enough about how good this wave, and the last wave was incredible too, but this wave, you finally feel these characters as like fully formed beings because if you read all of the first wave of books and you read the comics, you're really starting to get a feel for who these characters are and they're familiar and they feel like friends and you're finally kind of like connected to them enough that reading something like this is just going to like blow your mind. Cannot speak more highly about this. It is so good. My best advice is as soon as you get your hands on this book, read it because people are going to be spoiling it on Twitter because people love to spoil things. So as soon as you can get this book, read it. Do not pass up on this. It's so good. And, this is amazing as well. I feel like a lot of people skipped the young adult and middle grade books in the first wave. So don't do that because while you can do that and you still get the same full story out of this, you need this because a lot of characters that we already know and love from the comics show up in this one, as well as in Out of the Shadows, which comes out in July. But really, you just don't want to miss these. You want to read everything. You want the full picture. You're not going to think of them as trilogies. I think of them as trilogies because each of the three books that come out are connected and interconnected. And while you can read one and not read the others, or read two and not read the other, you still get the full kind of story. You're not missing anything, but you're missing a lot, if that makes any sense. So if you have the time and the money to pick up these books and read all three and to read all three from the last wave, do it. They're so good. And what these authors are creating for us is just like, it's a good time to be a Star Wars fan. That's like all I can say. So many good stories, so many cool experiences, and so much more like building on to this rich history of the galaxy that we love so much. And so I'm hoping that some of the echoes of the stories that we're seeing in these books will start kind of filtering through into what we see one day. But until then, I am, as always, going to close out this episode the same way. May the Force be with you. And I will see you next week to talk about Star Wars. Until then, stay safe and have fun.